It's Taunt into Electabuzz, so that's my last follow me, probably for the whole game. But Blaziken takes 2 KOs. Wait, I won that. What in the world? There was a special event this past weekend in Buenos Aires. Unfortunately, I've waited about as long as I reasonably can to record this week, and we still don't have the teams. So maybe we'll get them later, and I'll be able to do something with that. Although with the Latin America International Championship coming up very soon, there will definitely be some fun teams out of Latin America to feature either way. In the meantime, there have been a lot of regionals lately, so it's all good. I hadn't done one on the Gdansk Regional yet, and this team caught my eye when I was glancing over the teams once it became clear that I would need something from there for this week. This team made top 8, used by a player named Lucas Mester Christensen, and it uses 3 different starter Pokemon, but no pledge combos. There is no pledge gimmick to be seen here. Just a strong Fire, Water, Grass core, with notably Speed Boost Coaching Blaziken, a Pokemon that I'm really looking forward to using in this video, as it can give Coaching Boost to any of the strong physical attackers on the team. Baxcalibur, Kingambit, Rillaboom, all very powerful Pokemon, hard to remove, benefit quite a lot from the coaching. They can also be supported by Electabuzz with Follow Me, and Electroweb for speed control. They can be supported by Blaziken itself, having some offensive output as well, outspeeding pretty much the whole format after some speed boosts, and able to do some damage with Heat Wave and Aura Sphere, with the Terra type of Fire to boost that spread Heat Wave damage, and then Primarina as a complementary attacker to all of that. It looks like a fun offensive team. I imagine I want to get Blaziken in and click Coaching next to Baxcalibur and Kingambit, and hopefully a lot of teams won't be able to handle that, so that's the plan for now. As usual, I don't have the creator's EVs, but I actually was able to get all of the HP values from the VOD of the event stream, and so at least I have partial EV spreads for these Pokemon, and I was able to make reasonable guesses, I think, on the rest. But it's just time to start laddering and see what this team can do. Firsthand, we get a starter trio on the other side right off the bat. Incineroar, Primarina, Rillaboom. They have Incineroar instead of Blaziken. I would think Blaziken kind of has a bit of an advantage head-to-head there, especially since it's not a physical one. They have Gholdengo, Ursaluna, and Sneasler. So they have Ursaluna with no obvious speed control. That's interesting. I mean, it could be any kind of unburdened Sneasler, right? It could be Focus Sash, could be Grassy Seed, even White Herb. That's a kind of speed control. I don't have Intimidate, so the White Herb wouldn't help them, but that's a kind of speed control for that Pokemon. But otherwise, the Ursaluna, I guess it's just meant to be supported by 2 or 3 Fake-Out users and just a solid, well-balanced core of Pokemon. But I do kind of wonder whether Terra Ghost Baxcalibur can just go ahead and break through this. I guess the Gholdengo is an issue, but then Blaziken can threaten the Gholdengo with the Heat Wave. Terra Fire Kingambit looks really strong here as well. It does become weak to the Ursaluna when I Terrastalize it, but I actually think I'm down to just leave Kingambit and Blaziken here. I don't know that that's best, but hey, first game with this team. It looked pretty strong. I'll bring the Baxcalibur in the back, and I'm gonna do Rillaboom. I think Electabuzz is alright here. It doesn't redirect Earthquake from Ursaluna, but it can redirect other attacks. Primarina I have to watch out for as well, being a powerful spread attacker. And my opponent does have Fake-Out pressure on the board right now. But I think I just Protect and Protect. I don't know why Protect is in the second slot on Kingambit. That's very strange to me. Primarina shows the Terra Poison immediately. That actually turns off its Dark Resistance. They're just going for the Swamp Pledge. Okay. But this will be a Grass-type attack. The combination of Grass Pledge and Water Pledge is always a Grass-type attack, so it does use Primarina's special attack stat, but I would think both of my Pokemon can take it. And Blaziken is getting those speed boosts already. I think I'm down to just click Kowtow, Cleave, and Coaching. Kowtow, Cleave into Primarina. That's the bigger offensive threat here. Okay, they will get their pledges next, but this is just... Okay, it is very strong, but it is just a Grass-type attack into Kingambit. That's their whole action for the turn. It does give them the speed control as well, but I've already knocked out the Primarina. I have Sucker Punch available on Kingambit. I think they could have a lot of Fake-Outs on this team, so I'm just going to Protect here. It also kills a turn of their Swamp and gives Blaziken another speed boost. The Swamp is like... Swamp cuts you to like a quarter of your speed, right? So Blaziken still has some work to do. Sneasler is a very fast Pokemon anyway, but a knockoff into Blaziken. I could Terra Fire the Kingambit. I don't hate that here at +1 defense. That will help it take the knockoff. I think it's worth it if I Terra Fire King Gambit, Sucker Punch Sneasler, and I'll just Heat Wave. That Sucker Punch does a lot. Yeah, +1 defense King Gambit takes the close combat. Rillaboom U turns into Blaziken. It does break the Focus Sash for now, but... Ooh, that's unfortunate. But of course I do get the terrain recovery. I do miss the Heat Wave into Sneasler. Would have loved to get that KO, but this is the last turn of the Swamp. I can just protect both of my Pokemon again. Their whole team is very vulnerable to Blaziken. They might kind of regret terrestrializing their Primarina. It didn't really do anything to help them. I'm not actually sure why they did it in this game. We avoid a Dire Claw to make it rain. I'm down to just Sucker Punch Gholdengo here and Heat Wave. Actually, King Gambit might as well Swords Dance here. As long as my Heat Wave hits both targets, I'm fine. Get an even stronger Sucker Punch for the next opportunity. And yeah, just protecting around their Fake Out pressure has done a lot into this team. I guess a lot of King Gambit run Assault Vest. Maybe some run Choice Band. I don't know how many run Choice Band, but King Gambit having Protect is not a given. But my opponent has had trouble dealing with one that does have it. Gholdengo protects, fair enough, but I think Sneasler will drop to this Heat Wave. Yep, Blaziken put in a ton of work this game. King Gambit gets the Swords Dance. A little bit overkill, as my opponent does now forfeit. Alright, that was a great first game for this Blaziken team. I could lose all the others and be reasonably happy with what I saw there. But let's hope that's not what happens in the rest of the video. Let's definitely not speak it into being. Incineroar, Rillaboom, Garchomp, Primarina. There's that Incineroar, Rillaboom, Primarina trio again. And then they have Hydreigon and Porygon 2. Okay. Baxcalibur looks awesome into this. Right off the bat. It can be intimidated, but with a coaching Blaziken, and the fact that I have King Gambit to scare off the Intimidate. Another great thing about King Gambit on this team, very powerful physical attacker, also gives that cover just by having Defiant to powerful physical attacker teammates. And I mean, I could Terra Ghost Baxcalibur if I really need to. I have the Icicle Spear, I have the Scale Shot for a bit of speed control. Either one threatens Hydreigon or Garchomp. Let's just try Baxcalibur Blaziken lead. I don't know if it's optimal, but I think it looks very strong into this team, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And then I could bring Electabuzz in the back again. I don't hate that. I don't necessarily love it. It's not that great into Garchomp, and Follow Me is of limited use into Primarina. Although they run Moonblast usually, not Dazzling Gleam. So that's something I can redirect. I think I'm going to bring King Gambit and Electabuzz in the back. So the same 4 Pokemon, but a slightly different order. Which makes sense. I'm facing kind of a similar team here. Alright, it's Incineroar Garchomp lead. I am down to Protect and Scout what they do. The thing about playing around the Fake Out pressure like this, it can be kind of passive. There are definitely games where I'm better off not doing that. This might prove to be one of them. We'll see. But these Pokemon put out so much offensive pressure on the very next turn that I feel like it's hard for opponents to punish. In this case, they switch both their Pokemon, and they are in fact not punished for that. Blaziken's Protect failing is kind of fun, because if I wanted, I could Protect again right now with guaranteed success, but... Alright, I've seen all 4 of their Pokemon. Terra Ghost does make me a bit weaker to Incineroar, but otherwise it doesn't really hurt me at all into this team. They didn't bring the Hydreigon. I think I'm down to just Terra Ghost. Coaching... Do I Icicle Spear the Primarina? It is resisted, but it's good to get damage into that mon. The Porygon 2 has a special attack boost. Let's Icicle Spear that. Unfortunately, I am just offsetting the Intimidate here. I'm not getting Baxcalibur to +1 attack. The Icicle Spear doesn't do as much as I'd like. Hyper Voice almost wipes out Blaziken, but not quite. But they set Trick Room, so I can't really click another Coaching right now. Maybe I haven't put myself in the best position to succeed here. I think I'm down to Protect. I know I'm clicking Protect a lot so far this video. It's Calm Mind Primarina. Okay. This is where I start to get punished for playing passively. Calm Mind, wow. I bet it's got some good, decent physical bulk too, so the Icicle Spear really won't do a whole lot. Let's Icicle Spear the Porygon 2 again and switch to Electabuzz. But maybe I shouldn't be letting myself get scared out of attacking the Primarina. Hyper Voice takes out Baxcalibur anyway and crits Electabuzz. Okay, I'm just in trouble here. I guess I needed Rillaboom, which makes sense, into a Primarina. Whoops. I'm gonna go for a Swords Dance here. If I can get away with it, then just go for what damage I can as well. Then I can Sucker Punch Primarina on the next turn. It's resisted, but, you know, it's not nothing. I do get a bit of chip here. It is Leftovers Primarina, that's not surprising. Let's Sucker Punch. And Electro Web again, I guess. I mean, they're slower than me anyway. If the Trick Room goes back up, the fact that I've lowered their speed doesn't really matter, does it? That does actually put Primarina in range of another Sucker Punch, but I don't think I'm getting another one. No. Okay, I just needed Rillaboom, I guess, to beat that Primarina. At the very least, I could have forced it to Terrasilize, and then my other attackers could have threatened it. I wasn't punished in the first game against that person's Primarina, but this time I'm punished. Fair enough. The first opponent Terrasalized their Primarina right away, and then it was an easy target. That's the difference. But this person didn't do that, and I didn't have a way to force out the Terra. Okay. Torkoal, Hisuian, Lilligant, Blood Moon, Ursaluna, Farigiraf, Hisuian, Typhlosion, and Conkeldurr. So it's Sunroom. I have to take Eruption Spam seriously right off the bat. Baxcalibur has Thermal Exchange. I remember when this generation was new, and I thought that Thermal Exchange was a full fire immunity plus an attack boost. And actually at my very first regional, I felt at the time like it might have cost me a set. I never thought it all the way through. I don't know if it did. But in the very last round, I was way too scared to click Flare Blitz because I thought the opponent might switch their Baxcalibur in, take no damage, and get an attack boost, when actually I think it would have given me valuable chip on their Baxcalibur. I know better now. Blaziken's good in my opponent's Sun, right? Because it can Heat Wave. It gets the boost on Heat Wave. They don't have great things to take that. What do I pair it with in the lead here? Primarina's not the worst idea, but kind of weak to Lilligant. I could do Electabuzz. I could maybe taunt the Farigiraf. I think Blaziken Electabuzz is a reasonable lead here. I do bring Baxcalibur, I think, and I probably have to bring Primarina to beat the Conkeldurr. Much as I'd like to bring Kingambit. I mean, Terra Fire Kingambit, if I can be sure that I'll Terrasilize it in this game, it's actually really good here. I think it probably has to be Primarina. Okay, there's Farigiraf, and there's Conkeldurr. So taunting Farigiraf looks really strong here. I don't have the best Conkeldurr answers on the board right now. I actually could think about a hard switch to Primarina. I could Terra Fire and Heat Wave. I'll switch to Primarina. I feel like the best thing it does for me is threaten the Conkeldurr. It still takes a fair bit from that Mach Punch, but not too unreasonable an amount. We do deny a Trick Room there. I can also follow me now. So Primarina doesn't have to worry about some more serious attack coming out from the Conkeldurr. Just go for a Moonblast into Conkeldurr. It's stronger than a Dazzling Gleam. Although we'll see if there's a Terra or a switch. He switched to Typhlosion. I mean, this will still weaken the Eruption. Quite a bit, actually. We get the special attack drop, too. That's lucky. It is a Life Orb Primarina on this team. I didn't call that out, but yeah, very, very strong. They might not have a better spread move here than Eruption. They probably do, but honestly... Oh, I could switch Baxcalibur in here, alternatively. I could click Follow Me. I could also switch Baxcalibur in here and get a Thermal Exchange boost. The Typhlosion might do too much damage for that to be worth it, but I'm down to find out. And I'll click Hyper Voice with Primarina. That's very threatening into Typhlosion. They overheat Primarina. That doesn't do very much. That's not very threatening. I get the Hyper Voice. I take out the Typhlosion. Just Dazzling Gleam from Farigiraf. I mean, that chips Baxcalibur pretty well. But it doesn't knock anything out. Now the taunt is over. They can Mach Punch with Conkeldurr, but I can Terra Ghost Baxcalibur to get around that. And I'll just go for Icicle Spear into Farigiraf, looking to deny a Trick Room. Dazzling Gleam with Primarina. They Mach Punch the Primarina. That's smart. They had a safer KO there. A lot of Baxcalibur run some kind of defensive Terra type. It's Citrus Berry Farigiraf. So, oh, if I hadn't crit with that third Icicle Spear, the Citrus Berry would have ensured that it got the Trick Room off. That was very lucky for me. That was a really cool set, the Citrus Berry Farigiraf. And I just completely lucked out there. Well, let's go for an Icicle Spear and coaching now. Is there a normal Blood Moon Ursa Luna? Blaziken is not faster than Baxcalibur without a speed boost. That's good to know. I didn't think to check that. Whoops. And Hyper Voice takes out both my Pokemon. Do I still lose this? What do I have in the back? Electabuzz. Yeah, I still lose this. Actually, I run out of offense now. Okay, I needed to protect through that turn, get a speed boost on Blaziken, and then go for the Icicle Spear. I guess. Or go for Aura Sphere into Ursa Luna. That also would have worked better. Yeah, because coaching accomplished nothing with Baxcalibur being knocked out that same turn. Aura Sphere and Ursa Luna, I guess was the real answer. I didn't do it because some of them run Terra Ghost. Even Heat Wave, though, would have been better than what I did. Oh well. This is pretty familiar team here. It's Hisui and Typhlosion Sun again. I think I am down again to run Blaziken and Electabuzz in the lead. Maybe Primarina is better in the lead. It would have been last game, but if they lead like Torkoal Lilligant, the Lilligant is immediately threatening into Primarina. What if it's a Typhlosion lead? I'm not sure. Let's try Primarina Electabuzz this time, actually, with Blaziken and Baxcalibur in the back. Torkoal Lilligant. Well, this is what I was kind of afraid of. The good news is I should be okay because I can just redirect whatever Lilligant goes for. Even if it's after you, that'll be redirected, right? So actually Electabuzz should be fine into Lilligant. Can't put it to sleep. If it's Leaf Blade or something, at least that's not going to Primarina. And I'll go for Hyper Voice. It's weakened by the rain, but it should still do a lot to Torkoal and weaken that Eruption, I would think. Whereas Dazzling Gleam or Moonblast is resisted. So actually, yeah, this lead should be fine into Lilligant Torkoal, I think. I don't know what I was worried about. Torkoal just protects this turn. Lilligant goes for Sleep Powder. The game says it missed, but this is Vital Spirit Electabuzz. It doesn't work anyway. If that's actually a miss, then maybe that's beneficial because my opponent won't know. Or maybe they just thought I wouldn't click Follow Me there for some reason. I don't know. Pair of Fire on the Torkoal. Yeah, they go for the After You, but I redirect that. I get big damage with Hyper Voice into Torkoal. Drastically weaken that Eruption. I think I feel fine. Actually, I'll Dazzling Gleam here, looking for the KO on Lilligant. They protect the Torkoal, so that works out nicely. It's Sleep Powder to Electabuzz. Now they see the Vital Spirit. I guess I do kind of benefit from that move missing turn 1. I've had some good luck in this video for sure. And a quick win there as they forfeit. Of course, my opponent just knew what ability Electabuzz typically runs. Maybe they did know, right? And they just thought I wouldn't spam Follow Me, although I'm not sure why I wouldn't there. But, you know, a knowledge check for my opponent is... I don't know how much I can put on my luck with that. This is Scary Rain team. How do you beat our Chaldon Rain with this team? Whimsicott, Gholdengo, Blood Moon, Ursa Luna, Basculegion, or Chaldon Pelipper. I looked at Pelipper and said Basculegion, but whatever. There is also a Basculegion. I don't know how you beat our Chaldon with this team. Blaziken. Blaziken with Aura Sphere. And Heat Wave outside of Rain. That's how. Primarina inside of Rain, maybe? Maybe. Do I lead Blaziken into this? But I feel like as soon as they get the weather up, Blaziken is kind of detrimental. I could do Electabuzz Primarina lead again, actually. Primarina benefits from the rain. Electabuzz can redirect an Electro Shot. I think I actually, or some other nonsense. I actually think I like that a lot into this team. I think I do bring Blaziken. Maybe that's silly into rain, but I'll find out. Do I bring Baxcalibur? Do I bring King Gambit? I think I like King Gambit quite a lot here, actually. And Sucker Punch things, like Basculegion, and maybe Ursa Luna. Kowtow Cleave, Gholdengo. Okay, it's Whimsicott, Gholdengo lead. Hyper Voice for sure. Do I just Follow Me? Make It Rain is... spread, strong neutral spread damage into Primarina. I don't know if Follow Me is of any benefit here. They can just click Make It Rain. I could do Electro Web, but if they set Tailwind, that outpaces Electro Web anyway. The question would be the chip damage. I don't know that the chip damage is that valuable. I'm actually going to click Taunt into Whimsicott. I don't want... Oh! Okay. Well, I get one attack off. Yeah, I don't want Whimsicott doing stuff like that. Okay, well, goodbye Primarina. I get King Gambit here, though. King Gambit should be reasonably well positioned right now. I'll go straight for a Swords Dance. I see no reason not to Swords Dance here. I'll go for an Electro Web. If they switch... It's fighting Terrablast Guldengo. It's fighting Terrablast. Okay, well, sometimes in closed team sheets, you just get got. They had so many things that I just wasn't anticipating. It happens. Heat Wave. Follow Me. Childon comes in here. They might not have brought the Pelipper, although I'm not sure why they wouldn't. That Heat Wave does a lot to our Childon. This might not be over yet. This actually might not be over. I'm just going to Terra Fire right now. What else am I doing with my Terra this game? I'm going to Follow Me in Heat Wave. It's Taunt into Electabuzz, so that's my last Follow Me, probably for the whole game. But Blaziken takes 2 KOs. Wait, I won that. What in the world? What was their last Pokemon? Probably Ursaluna, right? They must be afraid that I can beat the Ursaluna with, like, Aurasphere. Wait, that game was ridiculous. I got completely got by the fighting Terrablast Guldengo, and then it didn't matter because Blaziken was just too powerful. Oh, man. If you were a Gen 3 kid... I bet you're loving this one. I call myself a Gen 2 kid sometimes. Sometimes I call myself a Gen 2 and 3 kid. Gen 2 was my first, but then I played Gen 3 growing up as well. And, you know, was staying up late playing through Emerald and stuff. Blaziken is not one of my old favorite starters. My absolute favorite back then was Sceptile, or Trico for the first stage. That's now my absolute second favorite starter. If you watch this channel, you know what surpassed it. But I'm still glad to see Blaziken going nuts here. That was a great game for that. But how long can I keep this going? And yeah, the Electabuzz is so strong. This is Reg H at its finest, honestly. Just a solid, well-rounded core of strong Pokemon. And there's not even a Dragonite, Ursaluna, or Guldengo on this team, so it doesn't feel samey like some of this format sometimes can. I think people exaggerate about Reg H being samey and not very diverse. Because there have been a lot of strong teams that have done very well, and if the meta focuses in too much on a particular one, then others get a chance to rise up around it as well. There's so many Sun teams on the ladder right now. That's different right there. Anyway, we know that Primarina, Electabuzz is a good lead into these. Scarf Annihilate could be tricky, but I could just Terra Ghost the Electabuzz. It's maybe not the best use of my Terra, but I actually do think it's a reasonable one in this game. Blaziken backs Caliber. Could do King Gambit, Baxcalibur. Or Blaziken King Gambit. The thing is, I probably want to Terra Fire King Gambit, and I want to keep open the option to Terra Ghost the Electabuzz. Let's do this. But yeah, this is what I love about Reg H right here. Just a solid, well-rounded group of Pokemon that are not necessarily the standard ones you see all over the place. I guess I just Follow Me in Hyper Voice here. And they put in work. Top 8 at a regional. Not bad at all. And Blaziken is maybe not an old favorite for me personally, but no doubt an old favorite that a lot of people enjoyed seeing do so well. Torkoal? Okay, so they're just going for the strongest possible eruption. I hope Primarina takes this. I have some special bulk. Okay, Primarina actually takes it pretty well. And yes, the sun weakens the damage, but that's probably choice Typhlosion. They usually are. But I think I'm fine to just Hyper Voice again and protect Electabuzz. Lilligant comes back in. But yeah, Typhlosion is stuck clicking Eruption. I mean, it could have switched, but it didn't. We knock that out. We break a possible Focus Sash on Lilligant. Farigiraf is here, but I should be able to just Follow Me Dazzling Gleam here. Oh, they could get Trick Room up. But even then, the Torkoal is very weakened. It actually might be best if I brought King Gambit, although I can't Sucker Punch with Farigiraf there anyway. I got this Dazzling Gleam now. That takes out Lilligant. Farigiraf, what does it do? Sets Trick Room. That does feel like the one thing I could still lose to, doesn't it? But I think what I could do is just play this carefully with Baxcalibur and win that way. So, protect both Pokemon this turn. What does Torkoal go for? Weather Ball. Oh, there are only 2 more turns of Sun. This is the second last turn of Sun, I mean. Weather Ball is not the consistent option they need, because now I can let Primarina go down. I'll just go for the double protect, because why not? I'll switch to Blaziken in this slot. This will kill the Sun. Weather Ball does some good damage to Blaziken, but... Okay. I would have preferred they knock out Blaziken this turn, especially with the Throat Spray on Farigiraf. I actually might still lose to that. But here... I'll fish for the triple protect with Primarina, but I'm really just relying on Baxcalibur to win this game. Helping Hand on the Torkoal. Okay, I mean, that Farigiraf is going to hit pretty hard. Oh, it doesn't attack Primarina. That's amazing. Primarina actually just gets to protect again and get out of the Trick Room. Actually, why do that when I can Hyper Voice? And if they're going to focus on knocking out Baxcalibur, then maybe Primarina can't win the game, actually. It only has 1 more... Well, unless the Hyper Voice knocks out the Farigiraf, but I only get 1 more attack with the Hyper Voice. I could... I'm actually going to Terra Ghost Baxcalibur here, because the only thing it does is make me immune to Hyper Voice and Weather Ball. So it's actually just slightly more optimal to be a Ghost type here. Psychic knocks out Baxcalibur. Okay, I lose. I had to go for the double protect. Okay, letting them get Trick Room up did lose me the game. Well, live and learn. I thought Baxcalibur would take 1. But that is an offensive Farigiraf, so what do I know? That's 3 losses, but I'm having fun, so I'm gonna get 1 more. Just 1, I think. It's a super fun team. I'm not, piling up win after win after win after win after win with it, but I feel like I'm competitive in all these games, except the ones where I very obviously mess up. Okay. Gholdengo, Ursaluna, Porygon 2, Amoonguss, Incineroar, Haxorus. I don't know what the Haxorus does, but otherwise this looks tricky to deal with. I've not loved facing hard Trick Room with this team. I also have not been bringing Rillaboom to my games. And Rillaboom is one of my best answers to Ursaluna, so I might want to think about that. But I also might want to just lead Blaziken Baxcalibur into this. Or Blaziken King Gambit. Baxcalibur is better into Ursaluna, King Gambit is better into Incineroar and Gholdengo. But Blaziken is good into Gholdengo. I'm going to try Blaziken Baxcalibur lead. Even if it doesn't work, that's a lot of what's exciting about this team. I'll bring Rillaboom this time. It's a big part of what's exciting about this team. Let's give it a go. They do lead the Gholdengo. Kind of hoping they wouldn't. I'm just going to switch right out to King Gambit. We're going to pivot on the fly here. Protect Blaziken. I might be playing this game in kind of a silly way, but we'll see what this team can do. Going out in a blaze of glory here, one way or the other. Paradragon Gholdengo. Could have just... Oh! Oh. I see. I'm going to say I could have just... That's really cool. Could have just... Scale shot that, but not if I drop 2, make it rain. If that's a guaranteed crit Gholdengo, then the special attack drops never matter. So do I just Sucker Punch and Aura Sphere instead of going for coaching? I think so, because I don't know what the Haxorus does. I don't trust that I can get coaching and an attack here. Oh, that played into their hands, huh? Alright, well, and Gholdengo is almost but not quite in Aura Sphere range. I'll go back to Baxcalibur here, but I'm going to protect it and Aura Sphere Gholdengo again. Back. Okay. Breaking Swipe Blaziken. This might actually be okay. I'm going to Terra Ghost the Excalibur. It mitigates the Breaking Swipe damage. The attack drop is still an issue. But I can Ice Shard and Aura Sphere to get rid of Gdansk. I guess that's the other thing about this team. It doesn't have a lot of speed control, but it has priority on both Excalibur and King Gambit, and situationally on Rillaboom. Oh, okay. I could have coached there. Oh well. And Blaziken gets so fast after some speed boosts that it doesn't necessarily need external speed control. Hello, what's on VGC in the chat? Doing great. Okay, Porygon 2 is here. Don't know the relative speeds of Excalibur and Haxorus. I think Haxorus is probably faster. Ice Shard. Coaching. Trick Room. Ursaluna. Well, that's kind of why I brought Rillaboom. I'm not sure I beat Porygon 2 at this point, but let's try. Ursaluna's not burned. Will they let me get this Icicle Spear, or will they just protect it? Have you been grinding for the Showdown lives? A bit. Ah, they knock out Excalibur. Okay, and they have Ice Beam. That Terra Ghost didn't really benefit me that much in the end. It would be nice to be able to Terrasilize Rillaboom here. Could be the difference between winning and losing this game. But, well, here we are. Okay, so safe to say I haven't mastered this team in about 30 minutes. Not really the standard I expect here. But it's a very fun, very strong team. I think if I understood it somewhat better, I could be winning a lot of games with it. As it is, I've had a great time here. Blaziken went crazy in some of these games. Sometimes you don't really need more than that, so I think we can call it here. Very fun team, top 8 in the Gdansk Regional. I'll see if I can fit at least one Buenos Aires video in somewhere, if and when we get those teams. But also, again, Latin America International Championship very soon. And then I think there's not very much after that. There's like Stuttgart maybe, and then not very much until January, so I'm going to have a bunch of these to fill with interesting teams from the last few tournaments and the next couple that are coming up. Hopefully LAIC gives me a lot of fun stuff to work with, but I'll cross that bridge when we come to it. See you next time, when I think the first international of the season, unless I've misremembered the dates, will be all done.